Hello everybody. I'm out in the woods today, my home away from home, and today I'd like to discuss with you how I make a balm, which has come up in numerous comments on my videos because I've used it for a lot of different things. I carry it with me at all times. This is it. Doesn't look very pretty, but I originally made it and started making it as a antiseptic for minor cuts and abrasions. And I also use it on my lips, especially in the winter, the fall and the winter. But I have also used it for conditioning wood, for conditioning leather, for lubricating the spindle on a bow drill for a fire. So it has a lot of different purposes. It's all natural. It's not that difficult to make, and there's no need to buy a lot of different things, because once you have the basic ingredients, you can make this fairly easily, and it'll last you quite a long time. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the different things that we need. Okay, so here we go. You're going to need a couple of pans. Now, one would be sufficient, but in order to be safe, and I'll explain why when we get to it, it's better to have a second one. You need some type of oil. I'm going to use jojoba, and it's pronounced jojoba, not jojoba or yayoba. Your friend Google can help you with that. Jojoba oil. You can also use sweet almond oil or castor oil. Either one would be fine. I've got here a little bit of shea butter. Now again, you can use a different type of butter like coconut oil, which actually comes in a butter type form. It's good to have that consistency of a butter. And then some beeswax. I brought just enough to do what I want to do today, so these are small quantities, but I'm only making a little bit. And then pine resin. This is some pine resin I collected in my last video, if you want to check that out. And there's a little bit that's still left over from last year, but most of this was collected just a week ago. And a container to put everything in. Okay, to make the balm. You can use an open fire, but it's much easier to control the heat with a stove, so we're going to use a stove. So we've got an oil, a couple of pans, a type of butter, either coconut oil, which is a butter form, or shea butter, pine resin, and beeswax. If you don't want the antiseptic qualities, you can forego the pine resin. But if you're going to carry something around with you all the time that you can put on your lips, or you can use to condition leather, or put on a new fork that you made and condition the wood, why not have it just one step farther and be able to act as an antiseptic for small cuts and abrasions? And it works wonderfully. So I encourage you all, whenever you're out and you see some pine resin, just harvest it and include it in this balm, and it's going to just be one additional tool in your tool belt. So I've added a little bit of water to one of the pans and put the container that I'm going to make this in the middle of it. What we're going to kind of do is a double boil in order to not burn the oil or the butter. This is a gentler way of melting all of it together without risking burning it. So what you're going to do is just put all of the ingredients right in the container that you're going to use. The butter, You don't want too much wax, because if you get too much wax, it's going to be a little bit too solid, like a bar of wax, which you don't want. So maybe for a small container like this, that's probably enough. Now obviously you can make this in bigger batches and then pour it into smaller containers. I've done that in the past, given a little bit to my daughter and to my girlfriend. This one's just for me, so I'm just making a very small batch. Then go ahead and add your oil. Don't fill it up to the top, because you're going to be adding also the pine resin to this. And once that butter melts, the liquid's going to obviously become more. Okay, let's get our stove going. And just put this on top of it. The water's going to start boiling, and the wax and the butter are going to start melting. Okay, it's all melted. Give it a good stir. Mix all those things together. We're going to take it off the flame, but we're going to leave it in that hot water. We don't want it to solidify before we've done our next step. So next is the pine resin. Now the reason I do this separately is because pine resin melts at a much higher temperature than the wax and the butter. So I find it best to put it directly on the flame. But once it gets hot, it is extremely flammable, and you can have a disaster very quickly. So what I do is I put a pan and I put the foil in there, because if you ever get melted pine resin in anything at all, once it gets hard, it's really difficult to clean. So this is kind of like directly on the flame with a little protection to keep your pan clean, and much less risk of a fire. It's inevitable that when you collect pine resin, you're going to get sticks and wood shavings and little pieces of wood in there. So basically what I'm doing is melting this down, and then I'll take out just the liquid form of it, and the rest of it I'll keep. It'll be solidified, but I'll keep just in case I need more in the future, for starting a fire or for making another balm. And man, what a heavenly smell of pine. One of the best smells in the world. Okay, this is going to go kind of quickly. Important to use a couple of gloves, leather glove. So let's turn off the fire, and pine resin cools quickly. It's about to boil over. Come on, calm down. Calm down. It boiled over. And we have aluminum foil, so it's not a problem. Let's use this just for a table. There's your oil and butter. Absolutely, absolutely use a glove for handling this hot metal. And we want to just pour some of the pine liquid in there. If you get some bark, it's okay. Or some wood, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. And then we need to mix it up real good. Excuse me, we need to mix it up real well. Without creating a disaster. And that pine is already solidifying there, so I'm going to do something just to help the process a little bit along. Need to get it really well mixed in so that when the pine solidifies, and it will fairly quickly once it's off the flame, while it's still liquid, that it's all mixed in with everything else. And we're getting there now. Okay, we should be good. Kill the flame. Everything's good and mixed together. If you're doing this at home and you've got a couple of burners, this isn't going to happen where the pine solidifies so quickly in the oil and the butter that's melted. That you see at the bottom is just wood dust, but the pine is all mixed in there. Okay, let's wait for that to cool, and then I'll show you what we have once we're finished. Just to show you how quickly this pine hardens. This is the foil where it boiled over a little bit. It's like like making some type of candy. But without sugar, it's going to be very, very, very bitter. So I'm not going to eat it. Okay, folks. So here you have it. No, that's not it. That's the leftover resin. Hard. It hardens quickly. Here's the balm. You can use it. I use it a lot on my lips. If you have a cut, I don't have any right now. The thorns didn't get me today. You can put it on the cut because the pine has antiseptic qualities, as I said before. But also, you know, that wooden knife handle that you have, it works very well for conditioning wood. And also leather. You've got that beeswax in there and an oil, so the oil's going to help it absorb. The beeswax is going to help to protect it, as is the pine resin. You know, pine resin is a defense mechanism for pine trees. They send the resin, the sap, to a certain damaged part of the tree, and it helps heal the wood. So it's not going to be bad at all for the wood on your knife handle. The only thing I would say is I also use it on leather. I use it on my leather sheaths. If you're going to use it for, say, a pair of dress shoes, I would use castor oil probably instead of jojoba oil, because castor oil gives a little bit of a shine to it, and for dress shoes you want that. That's it. I thank you all very much for watching, and if you like this content, please, you know, do the old thing: like, subscribe, hit the all notifications bell, all of that stuff. And thanks again for watching. God bless. Get wild. Stay sane. See you next time. No, no.